There's a storm brewing in the housing market for older adults. Most people focus on rising costs for younger buyers, but boomers are facing a separate battle, finding suitable homes and care options. Many boomers once believed they had won the housing race by securing property when prices were reasonable. Now, these same folks see a major obstacle ahead: the elusive retirement or senior living facility. The supply just isn't there. A leading data service reports that if we continue at the current rate of development, nearly 200,000 new senior housing units will be available by 2030. But the actual need is closer to 600,000. That's a glaring shortfall. This lack of inventory could hit you hard if you're planning to move from your current house into a more manageable living space. Many baby boomers, even those who once owned sizable homes, now worry they'll be stuck because there aren't enough options to accommodate their needs. To add fuel to the fire, not all boomers are in the same boat. A portion of them still hold on to significant wealth, having purchased homes decades ago and built equity over time. They can afford premium retirement facilities. But many others live on fixed incomes and can't handle today's skyrocketing real estate prices or senior living costs. The gap between these two groups is growing fast. Some have the ability to pay for top-tier services. Others struggle to meet monthly bills, let alone afford private retirement housing. According to research by a well-respected university center, more than 11 million older adults spent over 30% of their income on housing in 2021 and 2022. That's about 1 in 3 seniors being cost-burdened. That figure is the highest on record. What does that mean for you? It means there's a rising number of older adults who lack any wiggle room in their budgets, making them more vulnerable to financial shocks. Home maintenance, healthcare, or even daily needs can become major hurdles. Existing government programs can help, but they're not keeping up with demand. In some cities, seniors face wait lists that last for years just to get affordable housing assistance. As a result, homelessness among older adults is climbing. This scenario might not directly affect everyone, but it signals a deeper systemic problem. The nation's housing support structure wasn't built to handle such an enormous wave of aging citizens all at once. We've never dealt with a population of seniors this large. Senior housing would have to double its best annual building rate every year just to meet basic needs. That scale of development seems impossible at current speeds. A big reason for this standstill is the slowdown in new construction. When the global health crisis hit, many industries took a step back. The senior housing industry was no exception. Builders dealt with labor shortages and limited demand when people were wary of moving into shared facilities. Now, even though demand is rising, developers are hesitant because of high interest rates and steep building costs. They risk not recouping investments if the market shifts again. So, many builders focus on luxury projects that promise bigger returns per unit. Those will attract the wealthy few who can afford top-end monthly fees. But what about everyone else? People with moderate incomes may find themselves locked out of these projects and stuck in homes that no longer fit their mobility or health needs. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, that could mean fewer realistic paths when you can't handle stairs, yard work, or the daily upkeep of a larger home. It's not just about finding a place to live either. It's also about staffing. Nursing homes are facing a severe worker shortage. They can't hire enough people to care for the rising number of seniors. The jobs are demanding, and the pay often isn't great. This environment could worsen if something doesn't change soon, because the age group of folks over 80 is set to quadruple over a 40-year window. Insurance and government coverage have to keep pace too. Medicare might come under unprecedented strain as more people require advanced health care and extended stays in senior facilities. One major health executive warned at a conference in 2023 that there's a tsunami of people entering Medicare. This huge wave of new enrollees places stress on an already complicated system. Coverage gaps could grow. Out-of-pocket expenses might surge. This potential scenario creates a chain reaction, forcing more seniors to delay needed care or dip into savings just to get by. You might wonder, how does all of this tie into a housing crisis for baby boomers? It's an interconnected web. Think of housing as your base. If your living costs shoot up, you have less money for healthcare and daily expenses. If your home no longer meets your physical needs, you might face expensive modifications or pay for in-home care. If your goal is to downsize, there's no guarantee you'll find a cheaper, simpler place, especially in areas where costs are out of control or supply is limited. Meanwhile, the dream of a comfy retirement community could remain out of reach for many, blocked by high fees and ever-growing waitlists. Here's another layer. Some senior homeowners need to sell their existing homes to finance a move into a retirement community. But if local markets shift or interest rates soar, it gets harder to sell. Sure, real estate has boomed in many regions, but that doesn't always help retirees who still hold mortgages or live in areas where home values haven't kept pace. If you can't sell for the price you need, or if you have to buy a new place at inflated rates, your net gain might be less than planned. That can wreck your retirement calculations. These circumstances create a perfect storm of stress, especially for those on fixed incomes. And yes, some people have done well. They bought homes at low prices decades ago, built wealth, and can cover higher living expenses. But the number of boomers squeezed by the middle is large enough to shape the entire senior housing market. As it stands, government subsidies aren't bridging the gap for folks with moderate means, and private developers are chasing higher-income customers. That leaves a glaring hole for everyone else. We are seeing an affordability problem that hits older people from all sides. The cost of building new facilities keeps going up. Qualified caregivers are in short supply. Demand for specialized housing, like assisted living, is rising every year. The ballooning senior population can't be ignored. Millions of people are about to, or have already, crossed into retirement age. Will there be enough living spaces? Will there be enough staff? Will there be enough financial support? Each question hammers home the scale of this crisis. Staying informed and planning early might be your best shield against this unfolding situation. Share what you learn with friends and family, because they might face the same challenges. Everyone ages, and the numbers show the system isn't prepared for the swelling ranks of older adults. The crisis is near, and some say it's already here. We hope this brief breakdown helps you see how the baby boomer housing crisis could affect your life. Applied knowledge is power, and time is your ally if you take steps now. Meanwhile, if this video helped you, please hit the like button and subscribe to The Smart Retiree. We'll keep bringing you the facts you need as you plan for a secure future.